From the moment we wake up all the way till the end of the day, this living room sees a lot of different states. It used to be so chaotic and stressful all the time. And sure, I have small children and it's not like my floors are always toy-free. That's not really the point. This is still a lived-in house. But in order for all of us to actually enjoy it, we realized we needed to create a space that's functional, easy to keep tidy, and clutter-free. So today I want to share with you how I simplified our living room. And yes, IKEA plays a big part in our home. And let's start with the sofa with storage. It doesn't sound like much, but this IKEA sofa actually is so functional because it has this little storage area underneath. And so that means I can just put in here blankies, which is what we usually keep in here. So throws that we use on the sofa, but we don't need to have out all of the time. And we can put in here, I've got my yoga mat for when I do work out. You could even use it as a toy storage area if you needed to, but it's such a great idea, I think, to have just some extra storage in your home without it taking up more floor space, because you know we're gonna have a sofa anyway. It might as well be a sofa that has a bit of storage inside. And I do think this IKEA sofa is one of our best purchases we have made for our home. It's the IKEA Vimle sofa, and yes, I love the storage in it, and I also love the fact that all of the covers come off, so they've got Velcro on and you can take them off and put them in a washing machine. And the amount of spillages that we've had on this sofa, and honestly it still looks like new, and I think it's because of that, because I can take those off, put them in the wash, and no one will ever know that my kids put a chocolate all over the sofa one day. Our coffee table is also IKEA, and I do love about it that it has this little shelf underneath where I can put a basket, and this is where we put remote controls, the Nintendo Switch controller, or some little sticker books for my toddler to play with. Just those random little items that would otherwise get thrown on top of the coffee table. Since they have a little spot to go under the coffee table, it just makes things so much easier to keep tidy and to keep organized and not have, you know, controllers and remotes all over the living room and just all over the surfaces. And it also means it's so much easier to find them. You know, when you're looking for the remote, it's really easy to find it when you know exactly where it is, because it's in one spot, usually under the coffee table. So just having that tiny bit of storage under the coffee table too, I think is really helpful. I also like the IKEA chairs. These are from the set that actually comes with its own little table that we use in the kitchen, but we move sometimes the little chairs here in the living room and they fit this coffee table perfectly. So this means the kids can have some like snacks and food at the coffee table, which is really cute, and we love to do that sometimes. And I'll be floor sitting next to them and we'll have a coffee table dinner, which feels just a bit more special sometimes. So that's been really helpful for us as a family with small children, the fact that these chairs actually fit around the coffee table too, and they're like the perfect height for it too. We've also found really helpful the Billy bookcase that we've actually had for almost 2 years now, I think. And it's basically, we use the top of the Billy bookcase for books. So like the shelf bit, that's where we keep the books for the kids and some of mine and my husband's books. We don't keep a ton, and I think it's mostly kids' books, but my son is very much into reading. He has these collections like The Diary of a Wimpy Kid and How to Train Your Dragon, and all of these collections that, you know, mean a lot to him. He loves rereading them, so we're obviously going to keep them. So it's been great to have the Billy bookcase for that and have a lot of like shelf area for that. One thing I love using inside of the Billy bookcase is these IKEA bookends that look like it's like a white rainbow thing. It's very inexpensive, but I think it looks really good, and it's been perfect for that. And at the bottom of the Billy bookcase, we use it for toys. So on one side we have these felt baskets that are also IKEA, and this is where we have a few categories like some wooden train tracks or some wooden blocks, magnet tiles in one of them, some little like animal figurines in one of them, like, you know, Peppa Pig toys and all of these little characters that they love to play with. And then on the other side of the bottom Billy bookcase, we have basically a doll's house. We have used the 3 shelves in there to create this like bigger dollhouse for them, and they've just put all of their dollhouse accessories in there, and it's such a cute space for them to play in. And it's really nice because it's kind of a bigger space than like a normal dollhouse, but also it's kind of tucked away, so it doesn't take up more floor space. space. And I think you can create a dollhouse out of anything, like anything that has some shelves. Any sort of shelving unit can be a dollhouse if you wanted it to. One other piece of furniture in our living room that makes it very functional and streamlined is our TV unit. It's just the IKEA Besta TV unit that we have customized on their website. So you can use their app to add things to it. It used to look slightly different, and we changed a few of the things in there. We've added this wooden topper for it, and I think it just makes it fit more seamlessly into our living room. It's got 5 cupboards in there basically, and each one of them serves a purpose. So one of them is where we keep some paperwork, we keep our printer. My husband very cleverly did a little hole in the back of one of the cupboards so that the printer can go in there, and then the cable for the printer can go behind the TV unit. And we have in there like printer paper and a little basket where we keep parcel things. So for example, if I sell something on Vinted, that's where we keep envelopes and parcel things that we got from previous parcels that we can reuse when we sell things or declutter things on Vinted, for example. Another one is my husband's like gaming computer thing. Then we have our charging station, so where we keep all of the chargers or most of the chargers that we use in our home for laptops, for my camera stuff, for iPads, all of these things that we charge throughout the day. They can go in that charging station, and that means we don't have cables lying around on all of the surfaces in our living room, which has been great. I really love tucking away cables whenever I can, so that's been really helpful. And you can create a charging station out of any drawer, any cupboard, anything where you can put a plug basically in there, and that can make such a big difference for your flat surfaces in your home. And then the other units we use for my camera gear and all of my equipment that I use for creating my YouTube videos. Oh, and by the way, if you're ever interested in seeing how I run my YouTube business kind of behind the scenes, then I have a free YouTube class that you can watch, and that will be linked for you in the description box. And then we also use one of the cupboards for the kids' board games and puzzles and all of those things. And that's kind of how we keep the living room looking streamlined and not having things all over, you know, a lot of surfaces. And I do think this TV unit does a lot of the hard work in keeping our living room quite minimal and clutter-free, and just kind of keeping things organized so we know where to find them. Our dining area, we keep that quite minimal. So we have our dining table, which was actually from Dunelm a few years ago. We do have tucked away in there an IKEA easel kind of in our dining area, and the kids love playing with that easel and just kind of pretending they're teachers, and then my husband and I will sit at the table being the students. They love doing that. So that easel is such a nice purchase from IKEA. We also have there a little basket next to the back door entrance where we can just throw in garden shoes when we're coming through the back door, because I noticed they were just piled on the floor a lot of the times. And so putting that little basket there actually just makes it so much easier to keep things tidy and not have garden shoes all over the floors. And we also have our piano in the dining area, which is kind of where we found it just fit well in that spot. I actually haven't had time to practice my piano in a while, but my son does piano lessons and he really loves it. So that's something we appreciate having in our home. One thing that makes a huge difference in how cluttered your home looks, especially when it comes to visual clutter, it's open storage versus closed storage. I do like having some open shelves, but I noticed that when I have a room with a lot of open shelves, then it feels very hard to keep it looking clutter-free and to keep it tidy. A lot of open storage means that there will be a lot of items, you know, kind of on display, like visible. So that can actually make a room feel very cluttered, even though maybe it isn't, if you know what I mean. So sometimes that visual clutter can really stress us out. And one thing that does help is having closed storage. So our TV unit, as you could see, is closed storage. The Billy bookcase, you know, yeah, you can see the books at the top, but the lower part where all of the toys go, that's also closed storage, because a lot of things are just behind closed doors. It just makes it easier to keep things looking tidy. Then under our stairs, which is kind of in the living room as well, it's kind of a little storage area that we have under there, and we do have there our coats and some of the shoes as well. And I've also added an IKEA trofast unit that we used to have in my son's room, but we no longer use it there, so we actually repurposed it under the stairs, and it's worked really great because some of the bins are a bit narrow, some of them are really wide, and so they fit different purposes. So in one of the bins we might have reusable carrier bags, one of them might be our sunglasses or, you know, hats and scarves and things like that. That's also where we keep things like batteries and measuring tape and just these kind of random utility items that you need to keep because they are useful in your home. So it's nice for all of them to have a spot there, because then we can find them easily when we need them. And one thing that's really helped our living room stay quite minimal and tidy is actually removing unnecessary furniture. Sometimes we can have so many pieces of furniture that just accumulate clutter, but they don't actually serve a purpose. I would rather have less pieces of furniture, but more floor space available, because maybe it's just the phase of life we are in, but now that we have small children, we really appreciate the floor space because, you know, their living room is basically our playroom as well. We don't have a dedicated playroom. And I think that actually sometimes makes it easier to keep tidy because it's part of our kind of daily routine. We tidy it together every day. But yeah, having less furniture means I can easily move the coffee table around to create more floor space if we want to have a dance party or, you know, we'll just play a different game with our kids. And I just really appreciate that. And I have in the past thought, oh, maybe I should add another armchair or I should add another piece of furniture, just like more storage. But actually, we don't really need more storage. I think this is very functional for us and works really great. And just adding more storage, I think, would just invite more clutter in, because I find that if I do have storage space, I'll just add more stuff in it. It just tends to fill up. And if you need more help with decluttering, I have a free decluttering checklist you can download. Let me know if you struggle with anything in your living room and kind of any problem areas you have. I love hearing from you in the comments. And yeah, I hope you're having a lovely day, and I'll see you in my next one.